This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
I just sat through 7 hours, give or take, 7 hours of a presentation from the House impeachment managers that introduced brand new, never-before-seen footage from the Capitol closed-circuit TV network. And I watched a case be laid out that is ironclad, airtight. If there was ever a slam dunk, it is this case against Donald Trump. And I don't say that as a partisan. I say it because it is undeniable, the sequence of events that has been laid out, coupled with the footage and all of the arrests and the arresting statements, the 302s that have been taken, the interviews that have been conducted by the FBI of the insurrectionists. Donald Trump, this is some of the case, that Donald Trump laid out months in advance what was to happen. That Donald Trump, for months, said, if I lose, the only way I lose, it's going to be because fraud. It's going to be because it was rigged. And the closer it got, the more he screamed and yelled. Mail-in ballots, mass voter fraud, just election fraud on a scale the likes of which you've never seen. And then when he lost, he went into cry foul mode, whipping his supporters into a frenzy that this election was stolen. That if you're going to have to fight if you want your country. Because if you don't fight, you're not going to have a country anymore. He claimed that masses of dead people voted. He claimed that more people voted in Detroit than there are citizens of Detroit. Complete lie and fabrication. Complete lie. The numbers are like something like 250,000 people voted and like 650,000 people live there. And there's like 500 and some thousand registered to vote. Those are rough numbers, not exact. But it is nowhere near. It is an outrageous, audacious lie. Trump systematically targeted Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, cities with large black populations in them. It's a tried and true method of racists and white supremacists in our history as a country. And Donald Trump, without a doubt, coordinated the Stop the Steal insurrection that ended up with the deaths ultimately of about 7 people. Some died afterward from suicide. But this MAGA crowd, this Blue Lives Matter crowd, battled with police. Police who lost like 3 fingers in the hand-to-hand combat. Police who had a heart attack from being tased repeatedly by the insurrectionists. I'm going to save you from some of the footage because you've seen it before. The violence on display, the carnage on display. One, because you've seen it, and also because YouTube will throttle this video, and likely no one will see it. Before I play some of this footage, though, some of this CCTV footage, the surveillance footage from the Capitol, and some of the arguments from the House impeachment managers. Stacey Plaskett, for one. Fantastic. Before, though, I want you to remember, close your eyes and remember the insanity that you witnessed on January 6th, and beyond. Since all the days that we've witnessed all of the playbacks of the videos. And remember this moment. I want everything that you witnessed that I'm getting ready to play to be with this in mind, this as a backdrop, that Donald Trump waited hours while this was happening. Hours to say anything. He could have stopped it with the National Guard. He chose not to. He sat back. His vice president was in danger of death. He said nothing. He did nothing. And the first thing that he does come out, and he puts this video on his Twitter account when he had a Twitter account, and he calls these assholes special people. He commiserates with them about this was stolen from us, from me, from you. But it's time to go home. Be peaceful, you special patriots. Remember this as we go forward.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. You're special people. These same people who murdered a Capitol Police officer, who is doing his duty to keep our elected members of Congress, our government, safe. Special people. People he dispatched to do the very thing that he's now imploring them in his fake-ass way to stop. Delegate Stacey Plaskett represents, because she's a delegate, not a congresswoman, because the Virgin Islands, while citizens of the United States, aren't full citizens because they're not fully represented in Congress. She's a delegate. She doesn't have a vote. She was one of the impeachment managers, former federal prosecutor, a brilliant mind. Really knows how to lay out a case and prosecute a case. Here she is laying out the facts.
The truth is usually seen and rarely heard. Truth is truth, whether denied or not. And the truth is, President Trump had spent months calling his supporters to a march on a specific day, at a specific time, in specific places to stop the certification. And leading up to the event, there were hundreds of posts online showing that his supporters took this as a call to arms to attack the Capitol. There were detailed posts of plans to attack online. Law enforcement warned that these posts were real threats and even made arrests days leading up to the attack. And yet, in the face of all this, these credible warnings of serious, dangerous threats to our Capitol, when those thousands of people were standing in front of President Trump, ready to take orders and attack, this is what he said. We're going to the Capitol, and we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. And that's why this is different. And that's why he must be convicted and disqualified.
And here we are over a month later, and what do you know? We still have a country. There was a peaceful transfer of power, semi-peaceful, and we still have a country. A more healthy, functioning country than we had a month ago. This was premeditated on the part of Donald Trump, and this has been proven. He coordinated. He assured that these protest permits went smoothly. The intelligence says so. He knew what was to take place. He's the president of the United States and receives a daily presidential briefing, intelligence briefing. You would think that domestic areas of concern would certainly be brought to the president of the United States' attention. The main crux that I want to talk about today is the targeting of our government. Not just Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence, because certainly there were assassination attempts. That was in the cards. That was in the plans. That was in the plot. But the entire Congress was at risk. Many of their families, including Mike Pence's family, was there that day. And Donald Trump dispatched the insurrectionists to stop the counting, the certification of the Electoral College results, which would have overturned the election. That was the goal. That was the objective. That is what they were there for. There's voluminous audio and video evidence that that's what they were there for, because they said it over and over and over. Not just hang Mike Pence and where's Nancy, but stop the steal. Where are they counting the votes? Where are they counting the votes? And Donald Trump, the sitting president at the time of the United States of America, dispatched a mob to attack the other co-equal branch of government, where they live and work. Here's Stacey Plaskett talking about the targeting of Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence.
Mob ransacked the Speaker of the House's office. They terrorized her staff. Again, that is a mob that was sent by the President of the United States to stop the certification of an election. The Vice President, the Speaker of the House, the first and second in line to the presidency, were performing their constitutional duties, presiding over the election certification, and they were put in danger because President Trump put his own desires, his own need for power over his duty to the Constitution and our democratic process. President Trump put a target on their backs, and his mob broke into the Capitol to hunt them down.
To hunt them down and to kill them. A little later, in just a minute, I'm going to play a little bit of video of Mike Pence's emergency evacuation from the United States Senate complex with his family. This was an attack on the succession of power. The second in line and the third, the first in line and the second in line to the presidency were targeted. Here's another one. Here's another. You've heard of the police officer, the Capitol police officer, who directed the mob elsewhere so they didn't immediately find their way onto the Senate floor while there were sitting members there. Officer Goodman. Here he is in Before Unseen. First, the clip is going to show the Senate's evacuation, and then she's going to talk about at the moment where Mitt Romney was walking down the hallway from the Senate chamber, past what I believe is called the Ohio clock. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I worked there. But he's heading toward, if you've been in the Senate or around the Capitol, from the Senate chamber down the hallway. To the right will be Mitch McConnell's majority leader office. To the left will be the old Senate chamber. And then beyond that is the rotunda. And Mitt Romney's heading that direction when Goodman comes running and directs them back and says, no, the mob is that way. And they panic and run. Watch this. Remarkable.
Approached Senator Langford and informed him that the Capitol had been breached. Senator Grassley is immediately escorted out of the Senate chamber.
We'll pause.
Protesters are in the building.
Thank you.
Now, while this was going on, Officer Eugene Goodman responded to the initial breach. You all may have seen footage of Officer Goodman previously, but there's more to his heroic story. In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety. On the first floor, just beneath them, the mob had already started to search for the Senate chamber. Officer Goodman made his way down to the first floor where he encountered the same insurrectionists we just saw watch breach the Capitol. In this video,
And look, am I a giant fan of Mitt Romney? No. But does he deserve to die while doing his job? Doing his job poorly, but does he deserve to die? No, absolutely not. And it was close. In fact, here is footage of the other senators being evacuated from the Senate down the hallway, out, just steps away. Up the hallway there, at the top of the screen, is where officers are holding off the mob of insurrectionists while senators are scurrying from your right to your left down the hallway out of the Capitol complex. It was that close of a situation. They were that at risk of being harmed. They showed many clips, and you've probably seen the clips, of the people with the flex cuffs. They look like zip ties, but they're more sturdy and they're made for handcuffing people. Why would those people have those? Why would those individual insurrectionists have those in their possession, if not to kidnap someone, to take someone into custody and hold them for whatever reason, likely to do them harm? It seems pretty clear that that's what it is. And then here, I'm going to wrap with this, the clip of Mike Pence being evacuated from the Senate with his family and others because of an assassination attempt on his life.
You can see Vice President Pence and his family quickly move down the stairs. The Vice President turns around briefly as he's headed down. As Pence was being evacuated, rioters started to spread throughout the Capitol. Those inside helped other rioters break in through doors in several locations around this entire building. And the mob was looking for Vice President Pence because of his patriotism, because the Vice President had refused to do what the President demanded and overturn the election results.
So I said yesterday that I doubt that we're going to see a conviction. I said that we might see 5 or 6. I'll be shocked if we see 10, I think I said. But 17 seems way out of reach. And I feel cynical when I say that. I feel like it's a cynical thing to say, witnessing what I just witnessed over the course of today, this last several hours. But I don't think Republicans care. They're worried about their seats, the office that they hold, more than they are about protecting and preserving the country to which they swore an oath. They don't care. And every single one of these jerk-offs that's up for re-election in 2022 needs to be removed. Send them packing. No matter their policy, this is a matter for removal. if they side with Donald Trump and the insurrectionists over the well-being of not only their colleagues, but our nation as a whole, of our democracy. We are less than a generation away from dissolving as a republic. If this is where we are right now, where we can't even come to an agreement that this is grounds for removal and prohibition of running for federal office and holding federal office again. They are gutless. They are cowards. They betray the country. They betray the Constitution. They betray their colleagues. All so they can lap at the boots of Donald Trump. All so they can fawn in obsequious love, like servile dogs. I am done with them. And I hope you are too. If you watched it, if you didn't watch it, I'd love to hear from you. Call me, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can email me, I'd love to hear from you, daily@dollemore.com. Thank you very much. It's not usually this heavy, but these are unusual times. I would love it if you would just consider supporting my work here on YouTube for as little as $2 a month. You can help support independent analysis of history in the making, of headlines, of the news, of cultural events going on. Click the join button, become a channel member. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Connect with me on social media. I'm on the Twitter and the Instagram. I will see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another. It's all we got right now is one another.